Tonight on Frontline, the global banking scandal surrounding the collapse of BCCI, the Bank of Credit and Commerce International.
This is the world's biggest banker to criminal organizations. These people have as their clients 3,000 of the best-known criminal organizations in the world.
BCCI was the Bank of Credit and Commerce International, a dirty offshore bank that then President Ronald Reagan's Central Intelligence Agency used to run guns to Hussein, finance Osama bin Laden, move money in the illegal Iran-Contra operation, and carry out other agency black ops. The Bushes also benefited privately. One of the bank's largest Saudi investors helped bail out George W. Bush's troubled oil investments. BCCI was founded in 1972 by a Pakistani banker, Aga Hassan Abedi, with the support of Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, ruler of Abu Dhabi and head of the United Arab Emirates. Its corporate strategy was money laundering. It became the banker for drug and arms traffickers, corrupt officials, financial fraudsters, dictators, and terrorists. The CIA used BCCI Islamabad and other branches in Pakistan to funnel some of the $2 billion that Washington sent to Osama bin Laden's Mujahideen to help fight the Soviets in Afghanistan. It moved the cash the Pakistani military and government officials skimmed from the US aid to the Mujahideen. It also moved money as required by the Saudi intelligence services. The BCCI operation gave Osama bin Laden an education in offshore black finance, which he will put to use when he organized the jihad against the United States. He will move money through the Al-Taqwa Bank, operating offshore Nassau and Switzerland with two Osama siblings as shareholders. At the same time, BCCI helped Saddam Hussein, funneling millions of dollars to the Atlanta branch of the Italian government-owned Banca Nazionale di Lavoro, Baghdad's US banker, so that from 1985 to 1989 it could make $4 billion in secret loans to Iraq to help it buy arms. The money BCCI stole before it was shut down in 1991, somewhere between $9.5 billion and $15 billion, made its 20-year heist the biggest bank fraud in history. Most of it was never recovered. International banks' complicity in the offshore secrecy system effectively covered up the money trail. As at the time of its collapse, it had about 1.2 million depositors' accounts and had guaranteed billions of dollars in credit. A lot of the guarantees failed with the collapse of the bank. In recent times, the issue of sovereign guarantees and Chinese loan agreements have dominated the airwaves. A member of the Federal House of Representatives had questioned why the Nigerian government signed a loan agreement with China in Mandarin language, and that the wording of the agreement suggested that Nigeria risks losing her sovereignty to China if they defaulted. Sovereign guarantees are given by host governments to assure project lenders that the government will take certain actions or refrain from taking certain actions affecting the project. Although a blanket sovereign guarantee of all project risks is impossible to obtain in any project finance transaction, many of the legal and political risk categories typically encountered in an infrastructure project will be well within the host government's ability to control and may therefore be fairly allocated to such host government. In reality, this is not always the case because there's no real guarantee for unforeseen circumstances. Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned. Adam was the representative of the human race, and his decisions to obey or disobey God had lasting results on all mankind to follow. Because he disobeyed God, the effects of that transgression was passed on to every person. Adam fell, and we all fell in him. In developed countries that operate a credit rating system, when you default severally on your financial obligations, your credit score becomes negative. You are said to have bad credit. The credit rating system has been introduced into Nigeria. This is meant to help lenders qualify prospective borrowers as to their credit worthiness. When Adam defaulted, man's credit became bad. God then introduced a credit rating system based on blood sacrifices. When man sinned, he would perform some sort of blood sacrifice to clean up his credit. But because man now had a sinful nature, it meant man was always required to perform blood sacrifices all the time to be in good credit. Because of the weakness of man, man is always in need of a guarantor. A guarantor is a financial term describing an individual who promises to pay a borrower's debt in the event that the borrower defaults on his or her loan obligation. Guarantors pledge their own assets as collateral against the loans. A guarantor stands in the gap for one who is inadequate in one area or the other. Banks guarantee their customers to other banks, institutions, or individuals when they provide a bank guarantee. Educational institutions guarantee your learning and character when they provide you their certificate. You have bad credit and need a loan from the bank. You need a mortgage or you need to rent a house. You get a guarantor. You need bail from the court or the police. They will ask for a guarantor. You want to marry that man or woman, and your family and friends act as guarantors of your good character and upbringing. Sometimes the girl is saying no to you, that she doesn't trust you. You go to her friends or your friends or someone who knows her to stand as a guarantor for you, that she will break her heart. A surety or co-signer is also a guarantor. God saw that the guarantee from the blood of goats and bulls was not working. He saw that man would perish if they relied on blood as imperfect as theirs. God saw that the whole of creation was in peril, as no man could stand before the law. So he sent a guarantor for man. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. He sent his Son to be a guarantor for mankind, that man might be saved, whereby through one man sin and death came. Through the last Adam, who is Jesus Christ, life, salvation, and eternity came. This was a guarantor like no other guarantor. BCCI became a global bank in a very short time with branches in a lot of developing nations. The Saudis and Emiratis couldn't stop the bank from going under. It failed, as did all the guarantees the bank provided. Whereas nations have failed, and so did their sovereign guarantees. Whereas marriages have failed, and so did the guarantees provided by parents and families. Whereas mortgages have failed, and so did the guarantees. Whereas credits have failed, and so did the guarantors. I now introduce to you the Guarantor of Guarantors, the only guarantor that cannot fail. It is said of him, for all the promises of God in him are yea, and in him amen, unto the glory of God by us. This guarantor promises you good health, long life, prosperity, eternity, peace and joy. When you fail, he stands as a surety for you before God. When you default, God looks at his blood shed eternally for you and I. When you fall 7 times in him, you are guaranteed to rise 7 times. His guarantee is not written in papyrus or scented paper. His guarantee is written in his blood and is still cited at Calvary. You see, all those other guarantors have something in common. You either have to pay for that bank guarantee or give them a counter guarantee in case you default or bail on them. Or they have to know you to the inside of your bedroom or something. But in his case, his guarantee is free. All you have to do is believe. My son, Ife, is 2 years old. He loves to climb everything and pull down everything. He climbs the shoe rack even though he doesn't know how he will get down. But I will bring him down. He jumps off the bed when he sees me, and he's guaranteed that I will catch him. When I throw him up, he has no fear, for he surely knows I won't let him fall and hurt himself. Whenever I get back from work, all I do is get up from the bed several times to bring him down from the shoe rack, wardrobe or TV stand One day I said to him, Ife, stop climbing the television. It will fall on you. I said this several times, but he ignores me. So I said to myself, today is the day he learns that this television is a two-edged sword. Soon enough, the television falls on him and his scream pierces the night. I leave him there for some seconds, then I pick him up. I kiss him and I comfort him, and he soon stops crying. Since then, he has never tried to pull the television down again. What am I trying to say? Some of us believe that the grace, assurance, love that comes from our guarantor means that we can do whatever we like. Well, sometimes he lets the television fall on us. Does that mean he doesn't love us? No. Even though the coronavirus is here, there's a television lesson there for you. I come to tell you today that even though he calls you home, it means he has brought you closer to prepare for eternity. Eternity with him is our destination. The life we live now is our transit point. He's the guarantor for this season. He's the only guarantee to eternity. He's the doorway to the Father. That's why the songwriter says, what a friend we have in Jesus. Do you want him as your guarantor? All you have to do is believe. God bless you all.
What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. Oh, because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. Have we trials and temptations? Is there trouble